So since you were so used to fighting all these guys older than you, like when you jumped up to the NHL level, were you nervous at that point? Now you were going to be going at the best in the world, or were you excited for that challenge?
Well, my first fight in Junior A was against the toughest guy in the league named Mark LaForge, and I went right. The coach, talk about coaches, he comes in the room, and I'm 16 years old, and he's looking around the room. He's like, I don't want anybody fighting that number 18 out there. And he's looking around, except one guy. And I was kind of, I was a rookie. I was dressing behind the door, and I'm like, I'm right here.
Just pop your head out.
Yeah,
I got him.
So I kind of was looking forward to it, And it's the same thing when I got to the NHL. I was looking forward to fighting Bob Probert. So I was a fearless kid, and I was one of the few rare guys that liked doing it.
So take me through a game day, though. You wake up, and as the day progresses, and before your pregame nap, are you?
When game days? When I was early and single, or when I was married and
well,
focused?
I meant even early on. I mean, take me through the whole career. Like early on, would you be getting as nervous as some guys do?
Well, I never really got nervous. Actually, I was too small to get nervous. I always had to be calm and in control, and I was too small, right? Everybody was twice my size usually, most of the time. So, but I knew I can hurt them because I threw both hands, and a lot of guys got to know that.
No butterflies whatsoever right before you dropped the gloves with Bob Probert.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No.
Not too many guys have that ability. That you were born with.
I know
that.
it's not kind of normal, but hate to admit it now, but it's the truth.
Yeah, screws loose.
Not screws loose. I just, I love to play the game, and I could have played other sports, and I wanted to be a hockey player, being a Canadian kid, and that was my dream, and that's how I got there, and my toughness got me there, and legitimately, I can sit here and stare at you guys and tell you that I made it because of my fighting. Then I got more room. Then I became a better player. I could play in junior, but people forgot that I could play in junior. So I had to kind of reestablish myself as a hockey player.
Well, your best years were with Toronto later in your career as far as offensive numbers.
Well, that was Pat Burns' doing. He challenged me to condition myself better and be a better player and practice hard. And he said, if you practice hard for me, I'll make you a better player and you'll play in the playoffs for me. And he did. And I ended up playing with Sundin and Gilmore in the playoffs against Chicago. Another
interesting stat about you is you had the second most Maple Leafs playoff games ever, correct?
Well, for right wingers, yeah, after George Armstrong. So that's
for right wingers. Excuse me.
That's third all time, which is something that you take a lot of pride in, playing a lot of playoff games.
Of course,
we had great goaltenders. We had Eddie Belford and Curtis Joseph. So I tell my son now in Montreal, you got Carey Price. You make it to the playoffs, you never know what can happen. So that's just that was a blessing playing in Toronto in my hometown, and Matt Sundin, obviously, who was the guy who made it happen. He was the guy, and we never really had that second guy. So Mattson, our goalies, kind of usually did it. But as you know, Biz, as a tough guy in playoffs, you get to just play. You don't have to think about fighting. And every game I played, over 1,000 games, I had to dress every game thinking I might have to fight no matter what.
So It was almost a distraction mentally. Did you feel more comfortable in playoffs?
Well, you just had to really. Like I told you, I was small, so I had to really focus, right? And guys are big in my era. They were tough and they were mean and they can fight. I'm not saying guys can't fight now. I don't think that they know how to fight as well, and I don't think they really, they don't really fight to hurt you. Nowadays it's kind of just like you'd be lucky to see a hit nowadays. You
guys didn't have YouTube. Were you watching tapes though, the VHSs, and studying guys and stuff?
No, but being dyslexic, I was one of those guys that visually when you see something you remember, and so I always knew how guys fought and what hand they threw. So that was kind of the photographic.
Very interesting. You run it through your head a couple times over the course of the day.
Yeah, and that was the thing that I really had to do is I had to outsmart everybody when I fought them because they're twice my size, and I had to. And guys used to stand there and throw toe to toe, and I said, "There's no way I can sustain this and last in the NHL. I have to change it." And I actually did change the way guys do fight. I said, "I'm not going to sit there and take punches. That's stupid." So.
Even you were pretty hardcore. I was talking to Cam Jansen the other day, and we're like, "Man, we were kind of the last of the fighters, so people think we were like these tough guys." We didn't fight. fucking do it like the guys before us. Those guys, even guys before you, they would just stand in the pocket and they would just exchange.
Even guys before me. And when I was just too small to stand there and go toe to toe. And I tried that a few times, and I was like, no, I'm not going to keep doing this. So I actually changed, and it was a blessing playing with Joe Kosher when I was young. He came to New York and he threw the right bomb, and he said, Ty, you throw both hands and you throw hard. He said, you don't want your hands looking like this. He said, don't waste punches and take the helmet off. So I literally started, getting in and taking guys' helmets off, then throwing bombs, But it was all about the grip and always about the stance and always about being calm. And I always tell people say, how did you do it?
You always look calm, which was crazy. You don't know if it's a quote-unquote act or not, right?
Yeah, and I think when people get mad, they overreact and they're not in control. And that's not the way to fight, especially in the NHL.
You know who's probably the best at it now is Reeves. You watch him before a fight, and it's like his heart rate slows down. He's just very patient and calm. And I hate to keep beating the fighting horse, but I think people want to know about the psychological aspect behind a guy of your size to go against.
People always ask me, and you guys are a hockey show, so I don't mind doing it. You've been asking me for a long time, Biz. You were good to Max, so I'm happy to.
That's a whole different thing. We got to get into later on. What a great kid. Do you want to talk about Burnsy?
Actually, I wanted to go back to Probert for a second. You fought him across the street, that epic brawl, and you give the old, got the title belt. Was that a predetermined thing you were doing, or did that happen spontaneously?
Well, that was the days of the Hulk Hogan and the Macho Mans and all that stuff. And Probie tells the story when we actually, before we fought the first time, I'm like, come on, let's go, I'm Macho Man, let's go. I want a shot at the title. So it was a whole gimmick back then. But the belt thing, I felt that I got the better of him in the first one, and he was the champ, and he would always be the champ. So he was a very, very great, special individual that I got to know after our careers.
I was going to say, what was your off-ice relationship?
I got to know him after.
Okay.
We had too much of a big rivalry to get close during our times. Yeah. But after I got to know him, and he was like a big teddy bear family guy, and he said to me, and we spent some quality time together. He's a real family guy and everything, and he'd say, Ty, he goes, I couldn't hurt you. And I said, Probie, I know, that's why I knew I could beat you. And when he said that to me, I was like, yeah, because he hit me with his hardest in the first one. And if you watch the replay of the second one, it looks like I go down at the end. We were just so tired, and he was so big, right? And but it didn't hit me to go down. He couldn't hurt me, right? So we were just so tired at the end of that fight. And he's a heavy guy, so we just fell at the end. But it looks like he hit, but he didn't hit me, and he knew it. So he admitted it, and he admitted a lot of things to me. But those are things that I'll cherish the rest of my life. I don't think I should share special things he said.